So desperate. So I'm waiting for this thing to load up. I'm about to go live in a second. How do I turn this thing on? Boop. Okay. Oh, if you people only knew the machinations that we have to go through. Okay, I think we're good now. Edit video. Make it live. Patreon. Facebook. What is this? Chrome or Safari? Chrome. Alright, guys. We got Patreon up there. Fireside time. So here's the URL. And there's that. Publish now. And then Facebook. Publish now. Dun, dun, dun. All right. And let's see. Edit video. Take it off of private. Every topic is open. Every topic is open. Hang out with Vin and Sori for an hour or two to discuss the meaning of life, everything in between. Visibility, public, done, save, Creator Studio Classic, skip. I hate the beta form. It sucks. It's terrible. Okay, view on watch page. That should do it. And we're up. We're live. Doesn't look like anybody wants to hang out. It's unfortunate. On Safari. All right, well. The sword that's burning my back. Where is everybody? Sarcast, what's up, big homie? What's up, Becky? Becky Levitt in the house. Sarcast in the house. What y'all up to today? What are you beautiful people up to today? All right. I think we're here. Thanks for sharing your concert experience. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch it, and I mean that. To this day, we're still kind of blown away that people are willing to hang out with us and hear our life experiences on a given topic. So that's one part of this whole shebang that I've never really gotten used to. So we're honored every time people say that. So thank you. John in the house, 4:30. Why? Zork, what's up, Zork? What are you guys up to today? Everything is open, so we can talk about anything and everything. So let's chat. A wee little man was he, ran up in the sycamore tree, and the Lord he wanted to see. Zacchaeus, you come down from here. And I just lost my video feed. Where did everybody go? Fireside Chat. Okay, here we are. Dan in the house. Zork is in the house. Mr. Manson, anything what? Violence Peacecraft. I haven't seen you in a while, Violence Peacecraft. I did not play GTA San Andreas back in the day. We didn't have PlayStation. We were a Nintendo family. And I had just got out of electronics and video games. That's when I was like really in the middle of the Bronx and I was distracted by other things, to say it that way. Vin, where's my Vingo shirt? Oh shit, did you win? Did you win Vingo? I need to send that to you right now. Did we decide on that? You got a shirt? Oh, I don't have a problem giving you a shirt, and Capitalist Sori isn't here, so email me your address and I'll get on Teespring and get you a shirt, my guy. What's up, Tejas? Kellen Dross? I've won 4 times. Yeah. Zork, vinandsori@gmail.com. Send me your actual address so that I can send that shirt out to you, my G. Elio Mike! Reminding me of Bible school as a child with that song. I know. Really? My bad. How deep do we want to get tonight? Doesn't matter to me. I've got an 1.5 to 2 hour time limit, so we can talk about anything. Jack the Dynamite, did you get that email I sent you? I will check. Is it named from Jack the Dynamite? Every topic. Well, in that case, I got to ask for a member. Where is the Panopticon song you said you do for a BN fan? Black Soot and Red Blood. It's on delayed release, sir, because there's a couple other people in front of him, but it's there for sure. The email, James 2003 McGinnis. Let me check. James 2003 McGinnis. And we've got like 5 emails up. Okay, James McGinnis. You know what? Oh, Jack the Dynamite. I got recommendation. Dirty Ghost, Death from Above, 979, Crystal Callus, and a band called Dollskin. Yuck. Okay, yes, I do have your email. I did see it. Is it Friday yet? Good question. I think it's Tuesday. I'm not sure. Is fear inoculum growing on you? A little bit. To be honest with you, we're going to do a Tool live listen in about a week and a half. So I've been like staying away from all Tool so I can like fully absorb the goodness. Canada is good because it has Unleash the Archers. Yeah. And if it keeps Unleash the Archers, it'll be even more good. Should I be petrified to tell my parents that I'd rather be a guitarist and pursue a career in chemistry and mycology? It depends on who your parents are and how serious you are. This has the vibe of an old school fireside. Yeah, we're going old school by popular demand, so we're just going to chill out. Are you using the mic again? You're out of sync like last time. I am using the mic again. I don't really know what that would have to do with syncing, but yes, I am using the mic. You've heard one song from Unleash the Archer, sir. That's an unfair judgment. That's true. I've never claimed to be a objective listener. I don't believe objectivity exists. But I can be converted. Kalendros, get me another Unleash the Archer song. We'll put it on the list. I've been staying away from all Tool as well. Will likely be that way forever. You also stayed away from the boogie when I could have used you. Actually, I need your quote more for this week's boogie than last week's boogie. So, yeah. Yes. Just so I'd stay on the reactions because miscommunication or I didn't fit into the control narratives. I just stayed away. Okay, I understand that. I think Apex was the song that we listened to. So, I don't know. We'll see. Canada's good because they have a good healthcare system. Okay. I'm no longer in the $6.66 tier. For sure. Oh, man. Okay, Awakening is the song that we heard. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they just caught us on a... You know, it's funny. Somebody said something about Unleash the Archers, and I said something about Unleash the Archers on Twitter, and then Schoolcraft liked it, and then Unleash the Archers liked it. And usually, when a band likes something that I post, I usually like go after them and say, hey, let's set up an interview. But for obvious reasons, I didn't with this band. So, there you are. Do you like calzones? I love calzones. There used to be this thing at Pizza Hut called a pizzone, and back in the day, when we were really like living on the edge and wanting to treat ourselves, we would go get one of those pizzones back in the day. Like when we were dead broke and we had no money. I'm talking about like 18, 19 years old. This is before I met Sori. So we were both working at Burger King, and like we'd have to stack up money for like 2 weeks to be able to go to Pizza Hut. So yes, I love calzones. That's hilarious. I'm no longer in the $6.66 clear. And by the way, for everybody who actually was a patron and then left, we really, really, really appreciate you guys. So for the time that you did do it, that was awesome. So thank you so much for that. I just wanted to say that because people don't get thanked enough, man. Have you heard that Fox News said you should eat your neighbor to fix climate change? No, but it wouldn't surprise me if they ran a story on that. What are your 3 favorite bands? Korn, Pantera, I'm not sure about the third one. I love Dio's voice. I don't know if I'm a fan of Sabbath or Dio's various bands, but I love his vocals so much. I'll have to sit and think it through who my third one would be. Architects. I think we did one Architect song. What's up, Neil? Yeah, Moat Float. I've heard the new Periphery joint is pretty tight, so we shall see. Yeah, Silver is not taking any prisoners whatsoever today. Unleash the Archers is overrated. I mean, your weird hate of them is a bit ridiculous, but are they actually good? Not really. Well, I don't hate them. I just hated that song. I don't hate them. Magua. Oh, Magua and Batushka. Yeah, I'd probably say Magua and Batushka tie for third, honestly. And if Magua and Batushka went on tour, that would be a bigger tour to me than going to see Slipknot with Gojira. Honestly. So I guess that says something about my favorite bands, for sure. A Swedish scientist had said cannibalism is a way to help the planet. Well, if you buy into the idea that it's human beings that are the problem with climate change, then sure. Oh, Maiden. Oh, you're right. I knew there was a band I was forgetting. Every time I see Maiden in the queue and we're like 2 or 3 songs away from Maiden, I always get like, let's go, come on. So it's probably Maiden. Yeah, it's probably Korn, Pantera, and Maiden. And if it wasn't for this channel, I would not have discovered Pantera or Maiden. Yeah, it's probably that. But Batushka and Magua, I listen to those every single day. I don't listen to Pantera and Korn every day, oddly enough. But Batushka, I listen to Batushka and Magua every single day. Which one is that? Hey, by the way, thanks, Moat Float. I appreciate it, sir. Reptile, 16 minutes long. I'm good with that. I'm good with 16 minutes. I think Sori's cutoff was like in half hour. There's an hour-long song that I'm so interested in that, you know, we've got to get like 30 songs ahead before I can pitch that to Sori. But I'm really, really looking forward to that. So, inshallah, we'll be able to get ahead well enough to where we can afford to do that. What's up, BM fan? Good to see you, buddy. What bands do you listen to when you just want to chill? McGuire. I listen to a lot of techno. There's this song called "Stars" by Betsy Larkin. It's my favorite. So I listen to that song a bunch of times. I love the lyrics. And then there was a new techno song I heard last night, and I fell in love with the lyrics. I wrote them down, and I don't know who does them, but I love that song too. So, a lot of it, it's really eclectic. It's really interesting. The song has lyrics that hit me. I don't really, the medium, there's this Christian song by this guy named John Michael Talbot that I love. It's a song that my mom listened to like 30 years ago. I remember like as a kid hearing my mom like play that song, and like to this day it's such a good song. So there's like a pretty eclectic playlist that because to me there's really no distinction between music that's like worship music for God and regular music. To me it's all the same. It's all going in the same direction. So every song that I listen to is always going Godward. So my list is pretty eclectic. So yeah, I don't know if there's two techno. I had a mix. It was like a 2008 trance mix, and I loved that thing, and I lost it. As a matter of fact, once we started doing the channel, I completely lost touch of that video. But man, I loved every single song. But the song that stuck out in that mix was this song called "Stars" by Betsy Larkin and somebody else, and I love it. Are Duran Gray on a Japanese label? Yes, they are, and that's why we're avoiding it. It's trance. The song is trance. I can find it right now and play it. I'm not gonna play it, but it's and it's it's squishy love music, but I like squishy love music, so I don't know what to tell you. Stars, Betsy Larkin. But I love that song so much. It's trance, it's not techno, but say what you want, losers. Yeah, I no disrespect to Japan. I love Japan, and I there's this band I forgot. I think it's called The Gazette. I love them a lot, but they go crazy with the what do you call it? They go crazy with the copyright strikes, and we got hit by Guns N' Roses, which hurt us pretty bad because we love Guns N' Roses. I was really, really, really starting to, I'm not going to say they were a maiden level for us, but they were pretty high for us. And so, when you listen to the song all the way through, there are definitely some drawbacks, for sure. And that's one of them. I don't know if there's a way we can upload stuff to Patreon and bypass YouTube so that bands like Guns N' Roses or bands like the Japanese bands we could do and just upload it to Patreon in a form where it's not going to get blocked or stricken. Because you get 3 of those, man, it's no joke. They'll kill your channel. A lot, like literally thousands of channels have been killed by copyright strikes. So it's no joke. Muskrat Love. I don't know about Muskrat Love. What is that? Yeah, there was this song by this band, The Gazette, that I really, really liked. But, can't do it. That's a good question. I'm sure if you can be copyright hit based on an unlisted video. Yeah, yeah. I mean, once we got hit, we locked up all of the what do you call it videos? The what's the name of the band? Guns N' Roses. So I don't know. Maybe we just create this section in Patreon called the B side or something like that, and we'll put all the YouTube copyright strike or blocked videos. We'll put them all there so that you guys can have them, and that'll be another perk that patrons have that other people don't. But I don't know how to fix that problem. Yeah, but I love that song. And like I said, there was a song that played a couple days ago that I really, really liked a lot, and I cannot find the lyrics now. And I'm like, ah. But it was awesome. It was such a good song. I like really corny songs about love. I love it. I love that stuff. Ugly or Suicide Circuit, because I know a few other do reaction. Their channels are fine and still up. Yeah, it depends, Violence. Do they play the song from A to B without interrupting? You're such a softie. Yeah, I'm a soft dude for sure. For sure. Do you like soul music? Sometimes, Sean. Sometimes. Sometimes. It just depends. Are you guys Trump supporters? No, we're not Trump supporters. We're more on the Tulsi Gabbard side, but it looks like the DNC is going to do exactly with Tulsi what we did last time with, or rather what they did with Bernie 4 years ago. So I don't have much hope. It seems they're trying to prop up Biden, and I just don't get the logic. I don't understand it. So yeah. Are you playing Madden this year? Heard it's awful. You're talking about Madden 20? I wouldn't say it's awful. I just don't see the big improvement from Madden 19. I have Madden 19. I'm ranked in Madden 19. I love Madden 19. Then Madden 20 came out. I'm like, oh, we should get Madden 20. I don't really see what the difference was. It's the same game. They messed with the controls. I didn't actually like them, so I don't understand the point. I mean, I do understand the point. It's capitalism. You got to release a game every year. But, I mean, it's the 100th year of the NFL. I feel like they should have really went all out. But it's just run-of-the-mill game. Love you, Sarcast. Being on tour with Volbeat is exhausting. Oh, gosh. Well, classical, yeah, especially when Dorian was when Dorian was cooking, we used to play classical all the time, the Baby Genius stuff. What's up, playa? Did you see Tulsi on the Rubin Report? No, I didn't see it yet. I've heard some people aren't happy with the way that she conducted herself, but we'll see. I'm not sure. Hey, Vin, will you be doing a live stream for the debate on Thursday? Now I will. I didn't know. Yeah, so for those of you who are politically inclined, we will be doing a live watch along of the next Democratic debate, which will not feature Tulsi Gabbard because they're punishing her for taking down Kamala Harris. Chopin, James McClellan, old school. See, we used to do firesides like this late. We used to do them at like 11, 12 o'clock. And that's when all the cool kids would come out. McClellan, I was just thinking about you like 2 weeks ago, big homie. Yeah, that's awesome. I like Dan Crenshaw, but his red flag law agreements have me wondering. Well, I just think if you're on the right wing, Sean, that you've got to have some sort of concession due to this gun stuff. So, I'm not sure that he really. I'm friends with a lot of folks in that community, and you'd be surprised how many of them are actually pro-gun control. That's as much as I'll say. What's up, James? Tulsi met all the requirements to do it, but they changed the rules. Yeah, I mean the DNC is just bent on destroying themselves. I mean I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Take care, Tina. Nukes for everyone. Please tell me, what do you think about us as humans and purpose on this planet, and what's the point of prayers if God has a plan already? Our purpose on the planet is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever by loving our neighbor as ourself, as expressed in the person, work, and teachings, life, death, resurrection of Jesus of Nazareth. Why should you pray? You should pray because prayer is the temporal means by which God accomplishes his eternal decree. So, for example, the analogy I always use is, if I tell myself by 3 o'clock I'm going to have a cake made, I am the God of my house, so I'm going to make the cake. And then I turn to Zoe and I say, Zoe, can you help me make this cake? I don't need Zoe to make the cake, but I want her to make the cake. Because when I'm telling her to come along with me to bake the cake, it's not about utility, as in what is going to accomplish my goal the best. It is relationship, namely, I want to bond with my daughter. And so God absolutely has a plan. He's got a plan for, we had a person who had OD'd on drugs, and she, everybody was putting RIP on her Facebook wall. The doctors were telling everybody to go see her because she was going to die in less than 24 hours. And I deployed a bunch of our people to go. She'd been in the sex work stuff and kids taken away from her, and she just had it. Okay, so I'm back. So anyway, she had OD'd on drugs, and everybody was sending RIPs and all this, and so we went to pray for her, and she made it. The doctors were like, okay. I guess she's alive. They had no explanation for it, and off she went. And we're still in touch with her. She got one of her kids back. She's out of that business, thank God, and she's getting on her feet. And my point is, I believe if it wasn't for us, God would have saved her anyway. But now, we were bonded closer to each other, closer to her, and closer to God, because God joined us in working out redemption in the world. And so that's how I look at it. God's going to do what God's going to do, but he invites us into the kitchen to bake the cake, as it were.
And honestly, if you're talking about utility, if I were to bake the cake myself, I'd do a lot better than a 5-year-old Zoe would. Believe me, it'd be a lot less mess and a lot less eggs you have to throw in the garbage. But me calling her into the kitchen is not about utility; it's about relationship. And so, I don't really look at prayer as something for utility, where you put a 25-cent prayer quarter into the God answer gumball machine and then boom, you get something. That's utility. I look at it in the same way that I relate to my kids. So everything about my kids is about relationship. I don't really worry about utility much, and neither do the kids. Everything's about relationship in that type of situation. So there you go. You guys are awesome, but what do you think God is? How can you know? Well, Marshall, there's no way to really know in the sense of like knowing 2 + 2 equaling 4. However, the advantage that I have as a Christian is that I've got a historical figure, Jesus, right? And so I can whittle down who God is from Jesus. And so Jesus is, as Hebrews 1 says, the express image of God. He's a perfect representation of who God is. And so I know who God is like by looking at Jesus. And I also know who God is like by looking at the people all around me. Whether it's, I've got a very good atheist friend who I love very dearly, who is basically the head of our, global sharing initiative. Because we don't really do charity, because it's like you're giving down, whereas sharing is like your dad gave this to you and you've got brothers and sisters, so you have to share. You're not a hero for sharing. So the person who's heading up our global sharing initiative is an atheist and a very, very dear friend of mine. I see God in that, right? So I see God most perfectly represented in Jesus, but I also see God represented in a sort of kaleidoscopian fashion in all the beautiful people that you see around you. And that's what it means to be in the image of God. I'm a man of science. We're likely alone in the universe. I don't know, Marshall. You got billions and trillions of star systems and galaxies and all that. I don't know how you could possibly make such a definitive statement. Interesting story, Vin, but let me tell you something personal. I took care of my mom for 3 years. She was an angel. She did nothing wrong in her life, but God took her no matter how much I prayed. Yeah. Now, I'm sure you loved your mother, but I'm certain if your mom sat down with you, she would not tell you that she's done nothing wrong in her life. When you said she's done nothing wrong, I'm assuming you said you're meaning she did nothing deserving of dying. And I understand that. However, if you look at the situation from God's perspective, when Jesus was leaving the earth, because he was about to die on the next day, one of the last things he prayed was, Father, I want those you've given me to be with me where I am. Okay, the kids are going to bed, so I got a prayer for them. I will be right back. So Sori can take over. I shall return.
Well, go over there. So my night's been interesting. Check this out. That's actually a glass got broken in the kitchen, and so I went walking down without my socks or shoes on, and I got a piece of glass in my foot. And as I was getting out of the kitchen to get that piece out, I stepped on another piece that went even deeper. I couldn't even get it out. I had to get tweezers. Zoe ran and got me tweezers. Doreen got me a napkin to wipe up the blood. And Johan, what did Johan do? Laugh?
Yeah, laugh.
And Johan laughed. So
I laughed too, by the way.
Zoe laughed too. Wonderful. And I have no Band-Aids. We never have Band-Aids in this house. If you have a bunch of kids, it's nearly impossible. So I have this weird sock, and then I bunched up a bunch of paper towels and put that on my cut, and then put the sock on. I look very stylish with the shoe on the other foot. You find me attractive, Vin?
Not particularly.
Okay, you want to close that door, babe?
I've seen better.
How rude. It was pretty gross when I pulled that glass out of my foot, too. Because it was, like, much bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Was it?
Yes. Anyway.
Wait, well, what broke?
A mason jar. But you know how some people are at sweeping. So, how are things going, everyone? Oh, people are saying hi to me. How nice.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a GoFundMe for Becky and John. If anybody is interested in that, can we put in the description on this, right? We can add it to the description of this video. Yes, the guitar is here. Oh, my back hurts. We all wore spaghetti strainers at his funeral? What do you mean spaghetti strainers? Like on your heads? And why? Somebody passed away, I guess? Okay, right there's the GoFundMe for Becky if anybody's interested in helping them out. You should be able to read their story more when you click that link that Zonia just posted. Hello, Moat Float. Hi, James. They're ready. They want some Iron Maiden level riffs.
No, it's not in tune.
No, it's not.
It's
Where's the tuner?
Oh, it's around here somewhere. I can tune it. I just don't want to.
Why?
Because it makes people upset.
Oh.
You know how I am with stuff that makes people upset?
Yes, I know. You're like, oh, let me twist this the wrong way.
Yeah.
Shane, what's up? And Kai.
Kai?
Oh, we interrupted your search for audio equipment. Yeah, Kai's here. I thought I just saw Kai go by. Why did I say that? Yeah, right there, Kai. Hi, Vin and Sori. Oh, Neil. Hey, how's it going? Vin is petty, that's why.
I am.
Oh, he believed in the flying spaghetti monster. So, like, this is a joke, right?
You know the flying spaghetti monster.
No, I don't really know anything about it. I
It's
just assumed
like
it was just...
Oh, the flying spaghetti monster. That's just as valid as your God claim.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Kellendraw said that God wouldn't want you to be petty. Hello, Sori. Hello. Hey, Becky. All right. So what else are we talking about? You guys, we've been having so much fun with homeschooling. No joke. Oh, okay, Neil. I have been jumping on there the last couple of days to try to, message back everybody that's been chatting with me. So I shall get to it soon.
We're thinking about uploading videos directly to Patreon instead of YouTube.
I couldn't figure out how to do that. They didn't have that option before.
Save it as a file in
Yeah.
iMovie. And then, is there an upload option on Patreon?
I have seen something like that, but I thought it was just for linked to other things, but maybe not. So what's the win in that?
Well, the win would be, it would open up Japan.
So we wouldn't be using YouTube anymore.
No, just for those specific songs.
Oh.
So we could translate all of our Guns N' Roses.
Yep.
So I was thinking about putting a B-side section on Patreon. And all the Guns N' Roses, all in, if there's an alliance that wins the Japanese thing, da-da-da-da-da.
That's a good idea.
It would be a ton of extra work because then we'd basically have, obligations to 2 different platforms. Mm. And those would be completely different videos. But we can figure out a way to make it work. But I'm just thinking out loud, guys. I'm not promising anything. Just FYI. Good Lord.
Yeah, but Kellendross, Lost in Vegas doesn't have 5 kids that they're homeschooling and work a second job and all the other things that we do. He's like, Lost in Vegas does it. I know you guys can. And do they shoot 2 videos a day already?
Well, we haven't been averaging 2 videos a day anyway, so.
Well, yeah, but you're talking about that plan. That's what would be happening.
That plan would make us have to do about 3.5 a day.
Bye, Mike.
Is that Elio Mike?
No.
Have a good one, Mike.
Oh my gosh, Kai, you just woke up? What time is it over there? I just made Belgian waffles for the kids. Nice thick ones. Those things, as long as you just have a nice machine that cooks them, you can make some waffles that look awesome.
Really?
Oh yeah. You know the ones that you pay $9 for over at IHOP? Yes, Calendros, we understood what you were meaning by that, except what he's saying is...
Look. Internet. Okay, refresh and then put... I hate Maine with a passion. Turn down the quality. Vin's guitar playing broke the internet.
This is cute. Oliver, you'll do more for us by raising stand-up people in your kids. Do what you can.
Thank you.
That's nice.
Wow, thank you.
Now, I don't understand this. Somebody was just saying, Hex was saying that people are using their food stamps to buy cars and gold chains. I don't even know how are they accomplishing that. Yeah, we started that. Didn't we start that show, Lucifer? Was that the one that we started?
No.
And it was like, whoa, what was the other one?
It was the devil and an angel, and they were working together and all that.
But we thought it was...
That was
yeah,
corny.
It was corny, yeah. Well, welcome back, Seth. And Jay. Who's from Alabama? You have to watch the Young Turks' new video on Tulsi Gabbard, Vin. I disagree with them. That's... When They See Us? No, I don't remember hearing anything about that. We never saw that, right?
Yeah, I watched the first episode and then I was done after that because, I'm trying to not be angry at white people. It's about the Central Park 5. So.
Oh, I must have been asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see it. What? That's crazy that they could make... I don't understand. He said, I live in LA. Trust me, there are ways. A coworker even told me CarMax told him if he had EBT, he could make car payments with it. Lucifer is about him getting tired of hell and starting to work with the police to punish people instead. that might be kind of interesting. Kids bring back a lot of bad societal traits from public schools, unfortunately. Yeah, you said that your partner is a teacher, so I'm sure your partner sees quite a bit of things. Okay, yeah, James, actually that kind of makes sense. I have heard of people doing that as well.
What?
Where they use it's just how they're using their food stamps to get cars and stuff.
Oh?
Jay, it's not that hard to be mad at white people, though. Well, Hex, just because you were out for, he says, I was out for lunch, the person in front of me, brand new car, gold bracelet, paid with EBT. I was in a situation where I was doing very well, whatever, and all of a sudden, a lot of stuff changed really rapidly in my life, and I was stuck. And so I needed financial help, and so I ended up getting food stamps. So somebody would have looked at me and been like, oh, she has an iPhone and she's using her EBT card. Well, I had all that stuff previously. So I just kept the things that I had and got the financial aid that I needed. I didn't, stay on it forever, but as long as I needed it, I did. Oh, Kellandros. I'm one of those lazy people, I guess, that does not like to read an entire movie. He said, there's a really good Icelandic movie called Metalhead that you two should check out. It's a drama, it's amazing, but it's got some killer music in it as well. It's subtitled. You don't mind reading...
I love subtitled movies,
yeah.
But can't watch them with you.
It's not you can't. You can. I'll just probably fall asleep.
That means I can't watch them with you.
Fine. Do you watch the Truth Stream Media channel? No, I've never heard of it. I'm Death fan. Never saw a white person in my life. Well, maybe that movie Powder.
That movie was depressing, though.
I never saw it. Another thing. I'm Death fan. That's what it's for? I mean, that's what it's for. That's true. I should just learn Icelandic and then I won't have to worry about the subtitles. That'd be much simpler. I can't stand people judging people on EBT. They don't know if you don't. I'm not sure what you're saying, Will. I think you're gonna have to say that again. There was a couple words that your autocorrect might have messed with. You prefer subtitled films, BM fan? Oh, that's cool, Moteflow. I'm working a night shift ATM, so what is really cool is that I get to do all the fun practical science stuff in the afternoon with my child, huh? That's cool. So, yeah. Oh my word, Sarah Jade. I hate subtitles on English films. You know why? Because I can't stop reading them. I want to see the picture, but if the subtitles are on, I just keep reading them and reading them, even when I'm telling my own self, stop it! Just watch the picture! I hate that. Thanks for not judging me, Kellen Ross.
I judge you.
Yes, we did. We watched the Tenacious D, The Pick of Destiny. Didn't we watch it? We didn't watch it? You know what's happening?
Another Jack Black
I have
movie.
been watching so many Jack Black movies with the kids that I actually thought that we saw that one. I love his acting. He makes me laugh.
Who? Jack Black?
Yeah, he makes me laugh.
Really?
Yeah, he does.
I feel like he plays the same character in every...
Yep, and that's why I like it.
Oh, gosh.
It's like, you know when you watch a show series because you like the characters? Basically all the Jack Black movies have him in it. It's not like he's a different character. It's not like, you know when you watch The Office and you see that, is it Jim?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's on this movie series being a badass. You're like, wait, but you're Jim. Like, you can't even take your job serious. You know what I mean? Like, your mind can't transition very well. But with him, he's the same in all of his films, so...
That's true, though. You read stuff you would otherwise miss if you
Yeah.
don't listen to the subtitles. But you don't care. You're fine
I don't
with
care.
missing
I'll
them.
miss it. I want to see what I can see.
You're terrible.
It's not one to watch with the kids. Oh! Well, that's good to know, because I've been watching all of them with them, so... He's a legend among men? Jack Black is? Why? Oliver, Vin, by watching your air guitar, I didn't think you could actually play. Haha, I guess I was wrong.
I still can't play.
You gotta see Jesus' Son. Sorry? Jack Black does one called Jesus' Son? Really? I agree, Moat Float.
What?
But you can also miss detail in the picture or the certain way something is phrased. A facial expression sometimes can say more.
Ninth Hydra. I like that name.
Tenacious D is overrated, half funny. Well, I think that, what was that one where Nacho Libre or something like that? That one I think was a bit overrated as well. Like, it was funny, but it was weird. But I still enjoyed it because it was Jack Black, so. And plus, I love it when the kids watch a movie with me and they're laughing. So, they laughed at some of it, so I like that. Yeah, Silver, I mostly just watch the chat. Well, I guess it makes more sense that I watch the chat. It's not like I'm going to sit there watching myself talk. Hey, sorry, what's up? No, we never saw Tenacious D live. Does he still play live?
I have no idea. I'm
I
not the
thought he
Tenacious D
didn't.
guy.
I would see him live. I would like that. Ben, of course. If you learn a few chord shapes and picking patterns, you can fool anyone. When's the album, Vin? You seem to be previewing a lot of great riffs for a reason, haha.
That's right.
Not sure how true it is, but it used to be if you could play Wonderwall, you could get any woman. Can you play Wonderwall?
I'm trying out for McGuire. Huh?
Oh, God.
All the real McGuire fans will know what I'm saying.
Hey, Vin, I'm watching your guitar playing with subtitles. Ba 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 ba.
We're the student.
They want you to play your favorite thing. David wants you to play your favorite thing.
My favorite thing is all my shit.
I liked his Kung Fu Panda movies. I watched them so many times. Was that the theme on Terminator, Vin?
Yes, it was. Finally, somebody appreciates my work.
He was on tour this year? When's the next time he's going to? You have to see the collective of Jack Black and a bunch of others cover Led Zeppelin. Oh yeah, I bet that's cool. Envy is a good Jack Black and Ben Stiller film. Oh really? Envy?
Do you have to be baptized to be saved? No, but you should want to if you are saved. It's like saying, do you have to have a wedding ring to be married? Mm-hmm. No, but you should want to. Oh.
This coming from someone who's not a traditionalist. Interesting. Play Squeeze Me Macaroni? What's that? We haven't listened to the new Tool album.
We have listened to one song.
Yeah, but we haven't listened to the full album.
Right.
And Got Q said, baptism is mandatory. What verse are you using? And what about the thief on the cross? Jesus said, today you'll be with me in paradise. Gotcha. Thank yous. Nobody said about the baptism thing. Gross, Zonia. Play Freebird. Kellandros, I think the ceremony of marriage is just that, a ceremony. Yeshua was baptized as we should also be. Yes, but he was baptized, but you're not required to be baptized to like go to heaven. Muslims get baptized? James wants to know.
No. They just take the Shahada, La ilaha illallah wa Muhammadan Rasulullah. So you're the way to the boundary marker for Islam is to say the Shahada.
Oh, Will Cole, I'm trying to start a reaction video series myself soon. If you guys mind if I give you a shout out on a video, possibly react to one of your videos, go ahead. Go right ahead, Cole. Will Cole. Hey, Art. You're like, react to all my songs so I can binge watch your stuff. I laughed. I'm like, there's such a giant list. I think that would be fun if we could.
Yeah, man. Will, if you started a channel, bro, let us know how we can help you. James, no, Muslims don't do baptisms. Baptism is not a rite in Islam. And I suspect that it's because they were in the Arab Peninsula and you didn't waste water in the Arab Peninsula.
See, HQ video dude, he says, I'm baptized, hasn't helped me find God though. Yeah, that's not what baptism functions as. Basically, you know, when you become a Christian and you choose that you're gonna follow after God with your whole heart, then you're like, all right, what's the first thing he asked me to do? And the first thing is you're baptized. And that has lots of different meanings, but for me it's always been like when you're baptized and you go under the water, you're basically like leaving your old life and the things that you did before that were like against God, and now you're coming up like a new person because God gives us a new heart when we become a Christian, where your desires change. That's kind of like what a new heart means. So the things that you desired before that kind of took you into crazy places or bad places, now you have a heart that wants to do the things that are right and kind of brings you in a different direction, closer toward God. So baptism doesn't change you in any way. Baptism is just one of the things that you do when you're already on the path. You're trying to follow after God. Art, thanks for the super chat. He said, what do you think about CNN's latest fake news?
What was it?
Yeah, I'm not familiar. Yeah, Oliver, baptism can be a great experience, but it's when, you know, you're already a Christian, you're on your path. It's not like, oh, I want to get closer to God, let me try to get baptized and see if that works. That's not how it functions. But if you're already, oh my goodness, thank you, Mikhail. If Mary had Jesus and Jesus is the Lamb of God, does that mean Mary had a little lamb?
Yes.
What is the point of the entire universe if you live and die and go to heaven or hell and that's it? One of the purposes of the universe is that it's to show the glory of God. It's to show the greatness of God when you look out in the universe and all the things. Like God is bigger than just our planet. Like he created many things, and I believe that there are more purposes for the universe. Like when this life is over, that there are more things in the universe that come into play into our existence. But you have an answer for that? James said they're both worshiping, this was talking about the Muslims again, they're both worshiping the God of Abraham, right? One goes to heaven because he got baptized, the other doesn't because he only spoke a devotion.
I don't believe that.
Is that all you're going to say?
Well, I mean, I don't believe that baptism is what gets you into heaven or hell. So.
Right, yeah. I said this in the last Fireside Ranger, but baptism reminds me of being offered up to the drowned God. Oh my gosh. Hi, Puddin'. Ryan is doing great. He was a little grouchy tonight, though. He was super tired. and we washed his special blanket, so it has to air dry, so he wasn't happy about going to bed without his super soft, awesome blanket. When I was pregnant, Vin got me this awesome blanket when we were on one of our road trips to go do one of the concert reviews, and I was like, no, it was when we were going to California? When was that? I was so sick. I was legit so sick, and so I told him, I'm like, I just need a blanket. I need a blanket. And so we got a blanket that I could snuggle up with on the drive. And when Orion was born, like, ever since, like, right from the beginning, he's loved that blanket.
It was Blanky?
Yeah. It's helped him to sleep.
That's true.
Oh, you're welcome, HQ Video Dude. If there are purposes for humans, what would the purpose for, say, a bee? What's the purpose for a bee? Well, I mean, a bee is also going to show the mind of God, and obviously bees play an important part in our survival, pollinating everything and helping the stuff to grow. So, I mean, I'm sure there's bunches of more reasons than just those 2 basic ones I just gave, but those are the ones that come to mind. Got cute. Hey, did Art do a follow-up to the thing that he said? I didn't see anything. I got to handle 2 planar falcons and a horned owl and an eagle owl. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Whoa, they followed commands, Ranger? That's awesome.
Really?
Yeah. Would its very significance purpose not be of no use elsewhere? So would its significant purpose not be of no use elsewhere? Exactly. And after that? Oh, what would be the purpose of the bee after that? You mean, like, are you asking if when a bee dies, if it, like, ceases to exist, or if it goes on, and if it goes on, what does it accomplish? Is that what you're asking? Oliver said he's an addict in recovery and that God has helped him tremendously. A lot of them coming in.
Humans have a place in the afterlife, but would bees? I don't know. Not the one that stung me when I was a kid.
I believe that they do. I believe that they do. Because I think that heaven is, like, obviously, like, way better than here, but I think that it still encompasses a lot of the things that we see here. It's just going to be better. So I think that there's a place for all of those things. I just don't think that the destructive side of those things will be there. So I always think about what that means for a tick. And I have not come to a conclusion. Because I'm like, a tick is just going to suck blood off of something. Like, so that's not cool. Like, or like a mosquito. So I don't know, but I feel like that they're all going to have their little place. I'm just not sure how that would work.
Help you understand what, got Q. Humans are reborn as bees.
Zonia.
Actually, I bet you anything Adi would say that that's true. Because the trees in Vrindavan are reincarnated people. The trees. So bees definitely must be, right?
I would think so.
Vrindavan is such a cool name for heaven. And it's so rhymeable. I'm going to use Vrindavan in a rap and find some way to sound like a badass.
Yep, you should. Do you like Star Trek or Star Wars better?
Oh, Star Trek. Me
too.
I thought Star Trek was way more intellectual. than
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah, that's so funny. I legit didn't know what you were gonna say, but for me it was definitely Star Trek. Well, it'll be really uncomfortable to see all the animals we exterminate in the afterlife. Well, I think that, so obviously we're Christians, and so in the garden, when God first created everything, there was no death. And then if you're familiar with the story, that there was a tree that was put in the garden, and God told them, like, everything you can have, everything you can touch, everything is yours. And he, like, gave them purpose and everything, but he had that one thing. So it's like, okay, like, because if you had control of everything, then you would be God. And so he was like, I think he was kind of trying to let them know, like, look, you have everything, but this is kind of where the buck stops here. And he said if you eat of it that you would die. And so they, you know the story, they take the fruit because Eve sees it and she's like, whoa, that looks really awesome. And then she like takes it, she eats it, she feeds something to Adam, and then they end up having to leave the garden so that way they wouldn't take of the tree that would make them to live forever. And so when they left the garden, death had entered the world when sin came. And so from then on, everything has had life cycles where there's life and there's death, but that wasn't originally so in the garden. So I think that even in heaven, the same thing, well, there is going to be no death in heaven, so the same thing could be true, that you could have those things there where they wouldn't cycle through life and death because there won't be death there. Oh yeah, I don't think people would be allergic to them because I think that's also, yeah. Stop coming through. But Kellendros, I just don't know, are they still going to want to eat? And if they are, they're not going to eat our blood, so what's it going to be?
What? Really?
So ticks and mosquitoes would have no reason to mess with us, because I don't believe that they're going to be sucking on our blood in there. But I do believe they're going to be there, I just don't know. And I'm not getting this from anything scriptural, this is just like, this is from my Sori chapter. Doug, the creation story is a great story. Still just a story. Actually, if you read the creation story, and a lot of the stories in Genesis, they follow so exactly the human, like how humans are, that it's really ridiculous. It's pretty cool. Well, yeah, Moat Float, you can't see how they would serve an important purpose elsewhere, but if you believe that God created everything and then he created everything with purpose, then it's very easy to see how he could give those bees purpose even in a universe that's not like ours. And we don't know what the next phase of existence is actually going to look like. We have ideas that are spoken to us from the scriptures and stuff, but it's not like we have like a complete detailed picture and we know exactly what we're going to find there.
What was Got Q's question?
Here?
No, Kellendros. There's a song called Back That Ass Up that was written like way back, and it had this kind of structure to it, and I just put it on guitar. That's really where it came from.
I'm looking for God Q. Genesis 6. What are y'all's opinions on the Nephilim? You wanna do that one? I mean, I can say what the theory is, but you're the one that backs it up with all the information. The
Just
Nephilim.
Tell them what you think.
So the Nephilim, we believe that that there were angels that came down, like the scripture says, and actually like procreated with human beings, and it says that was how the men of renown and basically the giants came, and so they kind of like were going around on the earth and stuff like that, and There wasn't. Oh, that was in another thing where, like God said, that can't happen anymore. But that was in another.
It's Enoch.
That was in Enoch. Yep. So that's basically what we believe with that. Oh, I know. Yeah, we've been asking Ben when Lilo's gonna come back. What else are your favorite works of fiction? I was reading Grapes of Wrath, and I was really, really enjoying it. But then life just got so busy, I wasn't able to keep reading it, which was a real bummer because I was really liking the story.
The Alex Hefner Slipknot review was pretty cool. Hef is our guy, man. Hef is our guy. There's not a lot of reaction channels that we actually like follow or watch. You don't watch any of them, but I watch Hef and Blake. Of course, Blake's a villager, but I genuinely like his stuff. So there you go. I like Sori's Heaven.
There's a very profound message in the Christian doctrine. Being an ex-Christian, I have zero problems in admitting this reality. Okay, what profound message, Frater, are you talking about? James, I like Sori's Heaven.
Yeah, I had the Urantia book for years because, I actually read everything. As Christians, you acknowledge the Book of Enoch, the actions of fallen angels teaching man things like blacksmithing, etc. I do think that I'll just say yes because people don't want to hear a 2-hour thingy. I'll just say yes, BM fan. What about Islam are you asking about, GotQ? Of course, I'm not a Muslim, so I'm really not the person to ask, but here you go.
Is it a sin to create your own religion with other types of religion?
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, if we're Christians and we believe that Jesus is the right religion, then of course it would be. If you're talking about a completely different belief system, then yeah.
I believe this to the creation story, for example. I believe this to a degree, yes. Have you all been made privy to the
Urantia book?
Have you read that?
I already answered it, yeah.
What was it?
It's this big blue book that was written by, supposedly, a person who was channeling an extraterrestrial, I think.
Oh.
The id wasn't meant to be starved.
Oh, this is cute. God, cute. You too. Heart pulse. Glad I fell into you.
Are karma and reincarnation recognized by Christians? Yes, FX, as heresy!
Well, karma is not...
It's called karma!
No, I mean, karma is, what goes around comes around sort of thing.
That's not karma.
What is it? Karma is what you put into the universe is what comes back at you, right?
Karma is a Hindu belief that is very oversimplified. It's not what you sow, you will reap. Remember when we were going to hang out with that Hindu guy and he kept talking about your karmic profile? Mm-hmm. Karma is a way deeper idea than just sowing.
Well, what do you mean? What is it?
Well, it has to do with everything that you have to do to get back to the original state of Godhead. So it's not you do something good in this life and then you get rewarded, because the whole goal of Hinduism is to get out of this life. And
okay, so no.
it's not as simple as that.
David said he wants to hear the 2-hour thingy. Ben is hilarious, but why would you care if it's a sin or not? You're creating a new belief. God doesn't get to dictate what happens to the thing you're making up.
That's literally funny to me. God doesn't get to dictate. He's God, Ben!
Yeah, but
what is happening on the planet? See, I love Ben because Ben will actually come out and say what he actually thinks.
yeah.
You know, I mean, he's crazy as hell, but good Lord.
I'm not sure if Kalendros is responding to him or what, but he said harsh.
It's probably me when I said it's a heretic.
Oh.
Speaking of Enoch, how is Jude such a strange book?
Why are you making that noise?
Somebody said something about a strange Jude. Speaking of Enoch, how is Jude such a strange book in the biblical canon considering it's so short? I don't know what he means by strange. Y'all know about CERN. Yes, I know about CERN and the New World Order.
Preach it, Vin. James, I don't think God would care if you created your own religion as long as it was his word, which would be his religion.
Right.
Doug, did the angels come down and teach humans how to make beer and wine? I am stumped to this day how the oldest civilization, the Sumerians, figured out how to make something that complicated.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really, really interesting stuff about that, but again,
that's a big.
I don't want to monopolize. I don't want to monopolize the stream.
Oh, I think lots of people would find it interesting. It's like there's like lots of people that are not interested in hearing stuff about the Bible, but they're good with talking about some revelation.
Right.
People will be like, I never read that, but I read Revelation. Actually, they usually call it Revelations.
I believe in a God or a higher power, but I don't believe humans have any idea on who or what it is. Well, the term God is a definitional phrase, right? So at minimum, if you believe that God exists, that means you know something about him, right? You would know that he exists. Christians have categories for this historically. It's called the communicable and non-communicable attributes of God. So the communicable attributes of God are attributes of God that we can generally understand. Then there are incommunicable attributes of God, which we cannot because of our finite limitations. And so a communicable attribute would be God's existence. We know that. An incommunicable attribute would be his eternal existence. We have no idea what that means, that God existed eternally, other than to say, well, we know he had no beginning, but none of us can really comprehend that. So I'm with you. There's a whole, and I would say God has more incommunicable attributes than communicable ones, which is part of the reason why heaven is going to be so fun, which if Ian or Zonia decide on heaven for a Bible boogie, then I'd be able to fully explicate that further.
Oh, Jude has a few things that are just sort of weird, like Michael and Satan contending for the body of Moses.
Yeah, Jude relies on a lot of intertestamental stuff. He quotes Enoch almost verbatim from 2 Enoch 3, I think, where it says, the Lord is coming with flaming fire to bring vengeance on those who have spoken harsh words in an ungodly manner, in an ungodly way, or something like that. But Jude quotes Enoch verbatim, and so it wouldn't have been strange to his early audience, but for Christians who don't have access to the intertestamental material, it sounds very weird. I remember when I was in a Bible study with this one, and I didn't know her at the time, but we were doing Jude, and you quoted that passage, and you said, well, that nobody knows what that passage means. And I was like, okay. Sori was hilarious back in the day. If she didn't know something, nobody knew.
No, that's not true. I had one commentary, and if the one commentary I had said that people didn't know what it meant, then I just went with that. What are your 3 favorite live shows you've been to? Favorite was, oh man, Slipknot was really, really fun. But Korn was really, really fun too. So what's your top 3? I mean, Korn and Slipknot,
Korn.
but
My first Korn show, April 8th. Pledge of Allegiance tour with Slipknot, obviously. That was a crazy show. And then my all-time favorite, obviously, would be the Corn Show with you, where we got to hang out with Brian and them. I mean, Head, and chill out. So, yeah.
I'm glad one of your favorites will be.
Silver, send me an email of the Proto-Indo-European stuff. Por favor. Hey, Jude, you weren't afraid. You quoted Enoch.
You people in your Bible boogie brainwash cult.
Glenn, the big thing is what you do with Jesus, right? So, it all depends on the boundary marker is Jesus. So, Quran thoughts as a Christian. The Quran, in my estimation, is, people, geographically speaking, Muhammad was living in a milieu where he would have a lot of interaction with Zoroastrians and Jews and Christians. His uncle or his father-in-law Waraka was a Gnostic Christian, and so you see exactly what you would expect to see if a person lived in an area that had all these surrounding religions in it. Muhammad actually, the Quran actually retells a Gnostic story about Jesus turning a clay bird into a real bird and speaking from his birth. Those were all from Gnostic Gospels, 200-300 years earlier. So my thoughts on the Quran are, it gives you a good view into Muhammad's, Sitz and Laban, and it, obviously where it agrees with the Bible, like Surat Al-Ma'idah chapter 5, where it says that we gave the Torah, the Tarawat actually is what it's called, to Musa, while Injil, wa Dawood, while, what's the other one? No, Zabur, Al-Zibarin. So anyway, in Surat Al-Ma'idah, I don't have the verse down in Arabic, I'm sorry, but Surat Al-Ma'idah basically says, we gave the Old Testament to Moses and David, we gave the New Testament to Jesus, and these are the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I say, yeah, I agree. And then, of course, you've got Surah 4:157, which denies that Jesus was crucified. But again, that's a whole other discussion. So the short answer would be, where the Quran agrees with the Bible, I agree with the Quran. Where it disagrees with the Bible, I disagree with it. There you
go. Why aren't my questions, praises showing up? Got Q, they have. We've talked to you.
Namaste, Zonia. See you soon, inshallah. What questions did you have? No, Jack, I don't believe that the Quran is a legitimate word of God. I'm a Christian, and the Quran goes out of its way to deny pretty much every essential Christian doctrine. It denies the Trinity, it denies the sonship of Jesus, it denies the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus. So I obviously disagree with it. Why did you do that?
Because I was moving it ahead so it wouldn't be so behind. I don't know why the kids are still running around. I made waffles for them and told them just go straight to bed after.
Vin and Sori, are there any notable scientific facts that you have had to change your opinion on against your beliefs, or anything that you're on the fence about? Well, Alec is supposed to give me a deep dive into evolution. If evolution was true, it wouldn't affect my faith in any way, shape, or form. The Francis Bacon was an Anglican. Isaac Newton was an Arian. I mean, these are all, the idea that science somehow is deleterious to religious faith, I think isn't true, but I can see why, because there's been a lot of anti-intellectualism since the fundamentalist movement post-World War II. So I understand why a lot of people have that stereotype, but, I believe all truth is God's truth. So all the science tells us, if it's accurate, is how God did something, or something about God's mind, or whatever. That's how I look at it. This flat earth isn't that old. That's funny. Doesn't the Bible discredit in the same way, though? I mean, it's very contradicting from the outside. It depends on what you mean, Moat Float. Give me an example. No, Midnight Rambler, I do not believe that Lucifer has free will and could repent at any time.
FX, I'm glad. That's cool.
I believe that he has been given over to a darkened mind, which would make repentance literally impossible for him. Well, those are pretty important particulars, Kellen. Saying that Jesus didn't die on the cross for our sins, I mean, that's not a small that's not a small detail.
Do you remember this?
No.
Glenn, can you remind me how did we say we were going to do that review? Remind me how that, because neither one of us are remembering that.
In Islam, it's okay for you to marry your first cousin. When you say explain that to me, what do you want an explanation for? No, it's not true. Not every religion believes that their religion is exclusively right. So some do and some don't. It's just Jesus didn't give us any of that leeway. How did the Nephilim survive the flood? Well, the ones that died in the flood became what we call demons. I think that there were other instances where the Genesis 6 situation happened because the Nephilim and the Rephaim are mentioned outside of Genesis 6. It says there are Nephilim in those days and after.
If the devil knows the end game, why will he still fight? Always wondered this one. One of my thought is, I don't think that I don't even know if the devil knows the end game. But even if he did, like, I feel like he's probably irrational. Like, like when a kid does something that they know is going to get them in trouble, but yet it's in their heart to do it. I kind of feel like it's like that for the devil. It's in his heart to do it, and he's going to do it.
Well, I'm sure the devil knows the end game. I mean, when they were in the presence of Jesus, they said, "What have you to do with us, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? Have you come to punish us before the time?"
That's true.
So they know that there's a specific time where they're going to be punished and defeated. I think, to Sori's point, it's multifaceted. I think one is, when you're a bitter, angry person, you want to bring as many people down with you as possible. And B, evil people are always extremely irrational. Why did Hitler send all those people to Russia in the dead of winter? It's just evil people are always irrational. And so I don't think the devil's any, The scripture says, you corrupted your wisdom for the sake of your splendor. And I think that that's important. He corrupted his wisdom, his ability to reason and think logically, because of how much of an amazing being he was.
He got that song review because remember the mic thing, and I was saying watermelon, and he gets watermelon 3 times. Mm-hmm. So that's what it was. So I'm glad you reminded me. I'll add it to the list.
What would you say to someone that denies the existence of God and the Bible's accuracy because it can't be proven, at least not scientifically? Well, Will, I would just say, how can they prove that George Washington or Julius Caesar existed? I mean, we don't do history that way. Mm-hmm. And there is enough historical accounts for a reasonable person to believe that the resurrection occurred, whether Christian or non-Christian. Any chance our own personal jihad is personal to the self? Well, yeah. I mean, it's called jihad al-nafs, jihad of the soul, and Muhammad absolutely spoke about jihad of the soul. He also talked about jihad for conquest. I mean, that's without speaking, but he did talk about jihad al-nafs. What do you believe to be true name of Satan or Lucifer? They're the same person or separate entities. What have names like Samael or Hillel or Shemiyaza and the rest of it? The term Satan actually morphed over time between the Testaments. So originally, there's no person named Satan in the Old Testament. If you look at the Old Testament in the original Hebrew, it'll say Ha Satan. And Ha is a definite article. It functions like the. So when you see Satan in the Old Testament, it's the Satan. That is a title. It's not a personal name. And the idea of the Hebrew word Satan, it was a person who was a opposer or a prosecutor in a court setting. He was the one doing the accusing. There's a text in Numbers where the angel of the Lord, who I believe is Jesus, is actually called Satan because he is opposing someone. So in the Old Testament, there is nobody named Satan. It's the Satan. It's a title. Between the Testaments, Satan became the devil, the bad guy, whatever you want to call him. He became so connected with accusation and being an enemy of God that he got that name. So it got stuck to him now as a personal pronoun. Do you think someone who worships the devil can be saved? Yes. I've seen it happen. So, yes. Mm-hmm. I was going to be a vegan, but I did not want to be a Satanist. Very good, Dan.
Dana.
The reason for that is because this freighter, that was the majority report in Judaism even prior to Jesus's day, and it says explicitly in the book of Enoch that they became unclean spirits. And it also explains why they always are so desperate to incarnate, get into a body in the New Testament. And the idea is they had bodies originally as a Nephilim, and so they desperately want to go back into a body because they're disembodied spirits of the Nephilim. So that's where I got it from.
Kellendros, what are the contradictions you're talking about specifically?
Yeah, BM fan. I think, Satan is now a proper name for the devil, for sure, from a New Testament perspective.
Got Q was delivered from witchcraft.
Yes, Sean.
That's cool.
Like Aquinas says, angels were created innocent but not perfect, just like Adam was.
James, you said the problem I have with the Bible is the promotion of oppression. Which verses? What are you talking about?
Slewfoot. Yeah, my mom used to say Slewfoot when she was in a good mood. Slewfoot.
Why?
It's the devil.
What?
That's a name for the devil. Yeah, Slewfoot.
I've never heard that.
Yeah. It is. It is.
Where are you going?
Somebody tag me in these things. I hate when people tag me in stuff that are not in the village. It's just like, it really upsets me because it's always some stupidness, and they always want me to join some, hey,
you're fun to
this,
talk to, and you've got great information.
Join this thingamajig. A lot of people believe that the King James. Look, babe, you got a winner. We never went to the moon. Do you believe, a lot of people believe that the King James Version of the Bible is the only right version. Is this true or no? No, it's not true. And the editors of the King James Bible would tell you that.
Not to mention, if that's true.
I don't want to get into a big, long textual critical, Common Johannium, Pericope Dulce, yada yada. I'm not, long end of the mark. It's just not true.
No other language would then have an acceptable Bible either. Only English.
Well, some of them have gone to the point where, say, like somebody said, well, what about Russians? They don't have an English Bible, and they were like, well, if they're really serious, they'll learn English. And not only English, but Elizabethan English. I mean, come on. some of these answers, like I don't want to be dismissive, but, and I'm not talking about you guys. I'm saying anytime somebody asks me a question, there's like a tip of the iceberg answer, and then there's all the stuff underneath that I wish I could talk about.
Oh, I know. And I'm good with just giving like the quick.
Yeah.
I'm Geneva Bible only.
Right. Oh, who said that? Who said they were Geneva
Seth
Bible?
Hale.
Right, Seth, exactly. Which, it's true, the Puritans didn't like the King James Bible. They're like, we have a Geneva Bible. What do we need King James for? Can somebody explain the I'm not a plant thing?
No, why is everybody saying Glenn
What
is
does
a
that
plant?
mean? Who is Glenn and why is he a plant?
Glenn is the one that gets the review with us because he knew I said watermelon, but I don't know why they're saying that. It's not verses, it's the essence. Women following the man, the allowances for slavery, so many things, always with seemingly wise excuses. There's no verse about women following men. I don't know what you mean by that.
Is Christianity just a spoke on the wheel of a supreme being? No.
And then as far as the slavery stuff, it depends on which verses you're talking about. Some of it was, we call it sin management. It was that things were so out of control. It was not God's ideal. It's not God's ideal that there's slavery, which is why there wasn't slavery in the garden, and why there won't be any in heaven either.
And why Paul listed slave traders among those who kill their father and mother, and why in 1 Corinthians 7, Paul said, if you can get your freedom, get it, because you are not made to be slaves of men. You are bought with a price. Do not become slaves of men. So, look, the idea that a woman can do anything that a man can do is patently false. And for the majority of human history, men have generally run societies. I don't think it's oppressive to say that in a family unit there should be a leader. I don't think that that's oppression.
I'm the leader. I'm just kidding.
I don't think that that's oppression.
No.
So.
Well, people define leader.
I am never going
ways.
to be the president of the United States because
Right.
I was born in Jamaica, but I don't feel oppressed. It's not my role in a given society. Later, Kai.
When I stepped on the glass, the kid that broke the glass and supposedly swept it up was like, wait, how did you step on that? I swept it all up. There was a giant piece, like literally this big, still on the floor. I'm like, look at that.
Well, there's no text, David, where God says, I hate homosexuality. There's a lot of text, though, about God hating people who love violence. The Lord loves the righteous, but the wicked and those who love violence, his soul hates. So there is, look, and we talked about this in the Bible, Boogie, any form of living that does not reflect God's Edenic ideal, he doesn't like. So whether it's slavery, whether it's homosexuality, whether it's, heterosexual, partnering up with every third woman, whether it's excessive usury or excessive, loan sharking, all of those things are make God angry. And I don't believe even Sodom and Gomorrah, if you talk about Sodom and Gomorrah, God lists off in Ezekiel 22 why he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. And homosexuality is not explicitly listed. What is explicitly listed, though, is that they were overfed, they were fat, they were full of ease, and they did not care for the poor and the needy. That's my perspective on it. I've heard you say something about the rapture, that Christians will be here for the tribulation. I was always told that we would be raptured out before. Why you believe that? Because there's no text that says that. Heavy Metal Farmer. Secondly, that belief was completely absent from the church until 200 years ago. So when you've got a movement that's been around for 2,000 years based on one source document, it's very hard for me to conceive that for 2,000 years our fathers and mothers in the church just completely left that out. It's strange to me. Oh, Glenn, that's right. That's right. That's right. Could I ask both your thoughts on the story of Jacob wrestling with God? That's got to be one of my favorite stories that I'm really hoping that Ian and Zonia will ask for.
So, are you going to answer? What do you mean, what are our thoughts? Do we believe that God wrestled with him? I believe that, yeah, God wrestled with him, but I don't believe that God was struggling, which is why when morning came, he just simply touched his hip and it came out of joint. So, I'm not sure what it about it that you're asking.
Can people be saved after the second coming? No, I don't believe so.
Glenn keeps saying he's not a plant. That's so cute. I'm not a plant.
Is there a possibility that the message you're getting from the Bible could possibly be incorrect? 100%, for sure. That's why it's important to also look at church history, look at scholarship. Sometimes I'll come up with a really cool idea. I'm like, yes, this is amazing. And then I've got to spend 5-6 hours in the lab looking at, is there anybody in church history who said this? And it's a lose-lose situation, because if I ran into somebody who did, I'm like, damn it, I thought I came up with this cool original idea. If I don't find somebody, then I'll say, damn it, that's probably wrong.
Mm-hmm. I haven't fasted in a long time, actually.
James McClellan, I completely disagree with you. Look at the state of women in the Western world prior to the inception of Christianity, and take it from there. You can't say that the teachings of Jesus ever did that. So I'm sorry, I just disagree with you. And if you're saying it's indisputable, then document it. Uh-oh. I feel like I got in some trouble here. Thank you. That's what I wanted you to say the day that I called you. David, I did not say otherwise. My issue, though, is that Christians constantly talk about homosexuality when there's only one instance of God judging homosexuality in the Bible, whereas there are tons of instances where God judges people for not caring for the poor and for the needy. And God judged the entire nation of Israel, it says in Ezekiel, because of their loan sharking. But I never hear evangelicals talk about the abomination of loan sharking and the abomination of what's happening with student loan debt, which even from an Old Testament perspective is absolutely reprehensible and called an abomination, and was listed as one of the many reasons that God destroyed Israel. So that's my issue. I've never ever compromised on what the Bible says about homosexuality. My issue is the vast majority of injunctions in the Bible have nothing to do with homosexuality, but is completely accepted by the American church. As a matter of fact, when a guy like Bernie Sanders says, hey, let's relieve some of this excessive usury, this excessive loan sharking for these kids, evangelicals come out against him. Mm-hmm. When that is listed as one of the reasons God destroyed an entire nation, and he used the word abomination with it. So that's my thing. You can be disappointed. I still love you, but I'm very, very leery about evangelicals and their treatment of the LGBT community, considering there's a whole host of other works that are called abominable. And I stand by it. If you can show me where he says he hates homosexuality, I'd like to see it. I can show you Psalm 11 where he hates those who love violence. See, this is the thing that gets me. I'm going to start ranting now. So Ted Cruz can get up there 4 years ago and say, we're going to make sand glow and we're going to carpet bomb the Middle East. And that's okay. And all the evangelicals, yay! Even though Psalm 11 says the wicked and those who love violence, his soul hates. So if you've got a so-called Christian leader talking about carpet bombing an entire region of people created in the image and likeness of God, that's okay. That's fine. We celebrate that. But Pete Buttigieg, he can't be a Christian because he's gay. Look, if you're going to give grace to Ted Cruz, right? And if you're going to give grace to Jonathan Edwards, who owned an actual slave and actually wrote sermons against people who were trying to free slaves, if you can give grace to him, why can't we give grace to LGBT people? Serious question. Love you, Mikey. Have a good one. What's up, Ernie? Well, Jack, I think that there is a Christological connection in every community. So, anytime I run into a new subculture, the first thing I try to do is look at common ground. The rule that other religions can't have the consecrated bread. Yeah, I mean, look, Roman Catholics believe in the doctrine of transubstantiation, so I get what they're doing. The last church we were a part of, practiced an open table. And what that means is anybody, even off the street, if you understand what's happening in communion and you want to take part in it, then you're welcome to. But I hear what you're saying about that, though. I don't know what contradiction you're talking about, Kellen. What contradiction are you talking about? Have you read the D to K? Yes. I've got the D to K in my Bible software program. Hey Vin, when I watch, he and his friends had a better time in the crowd instead of side stage. Yeah, Glenn, it's me personally. I think Sori would have liked being on side stage, but me personally, we were surrounded by people who knew us from the channel, and we were all enjoying ourselves. Plus, we had Matt, the security guard, and of course, I had my little buddy cam. So, yeah, I wouldn't have traded that for anything. I would have stayed right down there. For sure. For sure. Yeah, Frater, with Jonathan's profession, it's kind of like it's a terrible thing, but the worse your life is, the better you perform. So I think he was just rocking as best he could to get it all out there. Well, yeah, Kellen, that's not the Bible's fault. That's not a contradiction in the Bible. That's our sinful nature loving to highlight the sins that we don't take part in, and then ignoring the abominations that we do take part in. Here is what I was talking about. Ezekiel 18. Suppose that a man has a violent son who sheds blood or does any of these things, though the father has done none of them. Indeed, if the son eats at the mountain, which is an act of worshiping a false god, and defiles his neighbor's wife, He oppresses the poor and needy. He commits robbery and does not restore a pledge. He lifts his eyes to idols. He commits abomination. He engages in usury and takes excessive interest. Will this son live? He will not. Since he has committed all these abominations, he shall surely die. His blood will be on his own head. Okay, so there it is. I'll post it for you. The term abomination is used over and over again, and it has nothing to do with homosexuality there. The big thing he talked about was not caring for the poor and the needy, being an excessively violent person, and excessive interest. And that is called an abomination for which God will kill people for. You never hear that. You never hear evangelicals talk about it. Have you ever heard an evangelical say, man, if we don't get the student debt crisis figured out, God's going to judge this country because excessive interest is an abomination? You take some 17, 18-year-old kid who grew up poor and all he heard is go to a good college so that you can get out of poverty, and then he gets himself indebted and he doesn't know enough about finances to read the fine print, and he doesn't know that if he's 2 hours late on a payment, his APR is going to go from 14 fixed to 28 variable. That's evil. That's an abomination. I don't hear Christians talking about it, though. And then when one guy says, hey, how about we forgive these poor kids of their student debt? It's the evangelicals who are the most out there about how that's terrible and it's a form of bribery. Not to mention how the foreigner is treated. Don't get me started. See emote float.
Rude George is the
Yeah,
name.
there's Rude George.
And you are rude.
How many months?
Because she put my 7-month-year-old to sleep.
I know.
I am curious. I think it's a 7-year-old.
What did Ben do?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Ben, stop it, for the love. Ben, no sex jokes for you, man. Period. Just don't do any sex jokes, bro. You're killing me. I don't know how many years old I am. That years old thing is gonna be is gonna be a big thing. What am I being blamed for this time? Your comment about Catholic schoolgirls, you weirdo. That's why, Vin, I changed my religion because God allowed Baptists in his own group, and he also said love all and love your neighbor. Yeah, I mean, it's not my job to change anybody. Thank God. God never gave me a mandate to change anybody. He just told me, hey, that guy in front of you, love him. That girl in front of you, love him. The gay guy, love him. Trans girl, love him. Nazi, love him. Trump supporter, love him. Bernie, love him. That's what I'm told to do. Just love the people in front of me. That's what I'm going to do.
ROOD. Okay, so Pony, thank you. After forever, follow in the cry. Dang it already. Also, ROOD, having me on ignore. Rude. Oh, rude. Having me on ignore. Who has you on ignore?
That's true, Frater. If you could have any career you wanted, what would you both choose? I gotta tell you, where I am right now is the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. When I was younger, I was very driven by doing things that nobody could do. And so I accomplished those things. I did them. So I did them. So I don't need that anymore. So now I'm here, stable, got a family. I'm really loving my job right now.
And yes, we are together.
Which is the domination that does all the flagellation? I think that's Roman Catholicism. Where do you stand on Constantine, Roman Emperor, not DC? Constantine is a curiosity to me because a lot of people think Constantine was responsible for way more than what he was actually responsible for. I'm not sure that he was a convert, but I'm an optimistic guy, so I'm just going to go ahead and believe that he was. Do you guys have a slot open for a third? A third what? Channel? Oh. No, George, we don't have. And that's one strike for you before you get banned from the channel. Tribes in Amazon, Africa, and Asia who've never heard of Jesus Christ and practice cultural traditions that contradict the word of Christ. What is their fate in the afterlife? Jack, everybody who wants God will have him. Doesn't matter where they are. Doesn't matter how they were raised. Anybody that wants a true God will have him. That's a guarantee from the scripture.
And Kellandra said, God doesn't punish ignorance. And then he said, I can't take credit for that, by the way. It was something Vin said in the Bible Boogie. It's cute.
Do you believe in ancestral memories?
Wait, what? You believe in what?
Ancestral memories. That is such a provocative question that I am not going to answer. Because I've never heard the question framed that way. So that's gonna chew up a lot of my 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning reading for sure. Why would I not read that?
Oh, you see what you're saying?
I aspire to be the boyfriend to wives as sharing the love is a morally positive thing to do. No, it's not. Someone asked, what would Jesus do? So I set him on fire and sent him straight to hell.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know that Jesus, bruh. The thing is, Ben, you don't know the difference between a well-placed joke and just being a complete douche. No, Jack. From a biblical perspective, those who perish outside of the law will be judged outside of the law. The scripture says that our consciences are consistently accusing and excusing us. And it also says that the Spirit of God works with everybody. So, as I said, it has nothing to do with geography. Anyone and everyone who truly wants God will have him. What's up, Bob? I agree, Dave. David, have you ever spoken out about the abomination of excessive interest that is practiced in America, especially taking advantage of vulnerable kids from high school? Have you ever spoken about that abomination? Because you do realize that that was repeated way more times in the Old Testament as a reason for God destroying an entire nation. So I want to know if you have ever done that.
Pony.
Silver. All judgment is based on geography. For example, if someone is from Florida, you should judge them negatively.
Pony's gonna convert to Dougism or trees grow backism.
Oh my goodness. Or yeah, like the televangelist. Correct.
That's true. We have never reacted to Skillet.
Nope. Why Floridians? All right. Thank you, George. It was nice knowing you. You're done. Alan Parr's view on the rapture. I mean, I'm pretty familiar with folks' view on the rapture. There is gloom and doom tension in the air, but you got to stay positive, bro, because there's also a lot of really, really good stuff, too. Yeah, Freder, I'm not a pre-tribulational. I'm a partial preterist, so yeah, I'm very, very familiar. Who's gonna win? Oh, Trump. Trump's gonna win easily.
I feel like I'm seeing a half of a sentence here, and people don't know how to stop. And dudes who feel they have to one-up douchebaggery.
Trump is going to win because the DNC is bound and determined to shut out Tulsi, who appeals to center people like me and BM fan alike, but they're going with Sleepy Joe Biden, who had blood coming out of his eyes in the last public speaking event he was in. So, I don't know. Sometimes I just feel it. Dave and Buster's, it's like Chuck E. Cheese, babe.
Oh.
Since we're banning people, can we also ban Pony too? No reason in particular. I just think the village needs a shakeup. No, Ben. I am not going to ban Pony. You weirdo. If it's Joe that gets a nod, we're doomed.
It's a young adult Chuck E. Cheese?
I agree. I agree, Kellen, but it seems like the DNC is bound and determined to prop up Biden. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I am purposely not listening to the Magua album for the live listen. We're going to do the whole thing.
That actually looks fun.
Tejas. That's terrible.
What?
10 minutes, guys. 10 minutes. Trump has every trait a president shouldn't have. I agree.
Have you ever been to a Dave & Buster's?
Yeah, in Houston. Remember,
was it fun?
We were out on that client meeting.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I still, to this day, that situation annoys me. Isn't that weird?
No, it's not weird.
Yeah, but it's like...
What's up, Miller? Okay, all right. Nobody. I will listen to them in my shower. I got 10 minutes. Email me, vinandsori@gmail.com. I promise you I'll listen to it. Next Fireside, maybe we can chop it up. I need to send you guys my schedule so you can get on my timetable. For sure. For sure.
No, Frater, we don't believe that he was challenged. Like, I can wrestle with my 10-year-old, but that doesn't mean I'm challenged. I'm just wrestling and going at their pace. When morning broke, he simply touched his hip and his hip went out of joint. So it wasn't something God chose to do that with him, but it wasn't like God was like, "Oh no, this mortal man might win."
Yeah, some of the questions they're good questions. I haven't mastered the ability to talk about these things without just going crazy and data dumping for 2 hours, and nobody wants to hear that. So, I kind of...
Excuse me, ma'am. Are you in danger? Blink if you're in trouble.
Oh my gosh.
There's been a couple of people that have said stuff like that.
What?
Blink if you're in trouble. It's always funny to me.
Yeah.
Oh, Gia likes my shirt till it's a Walmart special. What's the weirdest story in the Bible to you all? The talking donkey. That one's a tough one.
Well, the one that always bothered me when I was a kid was the Israelites are in the wilderness, right? And they're complaining, so God sends all these fiery serpents to go bite them. And as they're dying, God then instructs Moses to create a stick.
That bothered me too.
With a serpent on it, and then everyone who looked at the serpent was healed. I'm like, why would you do that? Like, the serpent from the beginning is looked on as an evil character, as the epitome of the devil, and then in order for people to get healed, they have to look at this bronze, a serpent. They have to look to a serpent for their salvation. It was just it was strange. It wasn't until, I read John chapter 3 that it all made sense to me, and I was like, what? I yelled. So that was the weirdest one to me.
No, the reason Kellen draws that the talking animal to me was weirder than the flaming talking bush is because I understood that the bush was on fire, but that God was speaking through the bush. But the animal talking,
right? It doesn't say that the bush talked. He says that Yahweh spoke to him from the fire.
Right. So that was okay to me. But like the donkey, like all of a sudden, like talking, that was like I was like, wait, whoa, what?
Yeah. Prophet gets an argument with a donkey and loses. It's pretty freaky. Yeah, that's in Numbers, for sure. Yeah, Tejas. Billy Boomer. What?
That one too.
Is it? It's just sad, People are so good, Rich Yonkers. People are so, sexualized that they can't just sit down and have a fun time hanging out with their friends.
Right.
Yeah, Bob Miller. Yeah. God was pissed off with Moses. He's about to kill him. And then his wife
circumcises their son, and throws it at him.
Yeah.
That is a pretty weird one, too. Well, that's weird, but to me that wasn't as weird as the donkey. Again, because, like, if their religion said that they were supposed to do that, and the god of their religion was, I could just kind of see how all that stuff would fall in. But, like, a donkey just opening up and talking is just, like... Does that mean the animals have stuff to say? They just can't communicate it to us, but they're actually thinking it all the time? Which you kind of wonder, like, if you have pets and you really love your pets and you, like, watch them, like, they do some, like, weird stuff, and they seem to understand certain things that you're like, do they get it? Except the one weird thing that was, like, I had 2 dogs, and one of them got hit by a car, and the other one was searched for him for so long and, like, would repeat his brother's behaviors. Like, the one that died would, like, scratch the carpet and then spin around in circles and then lay down to go to sleep. And our other dog never did that. But once the one that did that died, he started doing it. He would scratch, spin around, and lay down. He would run in all the areas the other dog used to go in trying to look for him. I hated that. I just wish that there was a way for me to say, listen, he's dead. But that was really sad. He was grouchy after that for, like, a long time. I don't know that he actually ever really recovered.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff, for sure. I don't know if you want to answer that one.
Do you think that's your call?
Glenn, message us on...
message us privately.
Message us privately. I had 1 year in Catholic school. I had a great time in Catholic. Well, this one mean teacher. She was a Jeffrey Gilbo. But I look back at my Catholic school experience with a lot of fondness. My older brother didn't, though.
Whoa, Dana.
Hey, I'm Death Fan.
That was such a really creepy thing to say. maybe the dog that died wasn't the one that scratched and spinned in circles. Like they would have changed, but that was creepy.
Shout out to my aunt who died in 9/11. It is 9/11 today. I forgot about that.
Yep.
Probably why I've been so moody. Changed a lot of lives, man. Changed a lot of lives. That was tough. Tough.
Thank you, I'm Death Fan.
Crazy. 18 years ago. So crazy how time just flies.
Yep.
18 years. It's insane.
Silver, a lot of times I'm not like completely up on the date, but when you homeschool, it forces you to be, because you're always like telling the kids what date to write on their paper.
Later, Frater. Okay, thank you for explaining that to us. I'm sure that has a lot of utility.
Okay, I guess my God can only answer my question. Jack Union, what was your question?
5 minutes. I don't know. We're not going to be able to find it through this wall of text.
Oh, that's not it.
Yeah, thanks, FX. It just set a lot of things in motion, man. That whew, crazy times we live in.
He was talking about. That's why he went to elementary schools. Is he talking about Catholic school?
I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what that means. I recently watched a doc on a girl who was in a relationship with a model of the late WTC Towers. Does God judge object sexuals? I don't understand that. I don't understand that question, Angie.
Does he judge object sexual? Like, you mean like somebody who's sexualized? Or is an object of sexual... Is that what you mean? The TK song is going up tomorrow, right? Which one's the TK song?
It's a separate issue.
Oh, okay.
Inshallah, Mr. Nobody. Inshallah. He did have a Christian background. He went to church for a while when he was a kid, so you never know.
Man, if you would have been at one of the schools that I went to, one of the private schools,
Yeah?
it would have been really like funny to see what would have happened. Like if you wouldn't have done your homework or whatever, and then they would try to call your mom in.
What did you think about the Brian Head doc? I loved it. That's my guy. You know, we all we grew up on corn. So so I loved it, obviously. Now I get it.
I didn't grow up on it, and I enjoyed it.
Jack, that's cool, man. That's cool. You know, like, yeah, man. The craziest thing to me, the actual trauma for me for 9/11 was I've never been that angry in my life. And looking at how far God's brought me, like the concept of like, I want to kill this person. Like, that was such a crazy space for me to be in because, when you're in the hood, it's a lot of survival thing. Like I didn't really, all the people that we had conflicts with, I didn't really dislike them. We were all cool with each other in the 9th grade, and then in 10th grade, everybody split up into their various whatever, and then we all fought it out and X, Y, and Z. But I didn't really dislike any of those people, and I never wanted to hurt them, and I'm sure a lot of them didn't want to hurt me, but it's just the circumstances. But 9/11, I saw people jumping from the buildings, man. I was like, okay, motherfuckers are gonna die for this shit. Is that line in the people are gonna die and I'm gonna kill them. So, that was the worst part about it for me, was just how angry I was. So. Yeah, Glenn, it's all good. I've been moody for the past couple days anyway. Sori can attest, so it's not your fault. Yeah, but it's one of those things where my brothers, 2 of us were from Jamaica, 1 of us was from born in this country, and I'll say it this way: everybody did their part. I'll say it like that. So, definitely a disproportionate reaction, but at the time, nobody was gonna tell me anything different. I'll say it that way. But tough stuff for sure. That's crazy, Becky. That's crazy. Yeah, my brother was supposed to. He had an appointment in Building 7. It was Building 7, or I don't know. But I have never been in the Army, Glenn. Yeah, man. It was pretty crazy. It's a pretty crazy situation. But, at the same time, it's like I said with the Hassan Piker stuff. We as Americans, and it took me a while to understand this until you see it and you're like, well, shit. We as Americans cause 9/11s on a monthly basis. And we've terrorized the world. And if you knew me, you would know that I'm not one of these hate America, hate the military people. I'm not saying we deserve 9/11. What I'm saying is the pain that I feel for my aunt and for my countrymen is the same pain that everybody feels. And we've made people feel like that exponentially all over the world. And it's the real tragedy is that, every war is a civil war. So, you just got to have perspective. And, that's why I cling to the Jesus model of the Sermon on the Mount, because I've seen it firsthand. You're not gonna end violent ideology. You cannot kill an ideology.
So your brother was fine in the other tower?
it's the government that takes those lives. Yeah, I know that, Glenn. I understand that. Government takes the lives, but I am a collectivist. I'm not going to divorce myself from the government. We democratically elected this government, and they're under no social pressure whatsoever to stop killing people overseas. And that's why Ted Cruz made his sand glow comment and his carpet bomb the Middle East comment. So we can't separate ourselves from our government as Americans, especially Americans.
Oh, wow, he got out. That's cool. That must have been crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the real tragedy is hate. And I just remember, I've never been that way before or since that time period in my life. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy stuff.
Good night, Becky.
Yeah, we got to get out of here too. Much love to everybody. Keep each other safe today. Buy somebody something. Coffee or something from Starbucks. Let's do a lot of, seriously guys, let's do a lot of good today. Let's do a lot of good today. That's the way. Yeah, I completely agree with BM Fan.
Oh, also, this is a cool story. So tonight we were out, and I came past this girl that was she like was working construction and stuff, and she had to hitchhike all the way back to her town, which is like an hour and a half away. And I was like, "Are you scared to do that?" And anyway, like I felt like God was telling me that I should, get her an Uber. And we were able to get her an Uber back to her house because our patrons and the different people that partner with us through Patreon, we were able to have like some extra money to be able to help her out. So we were able to get her an Uber. She was crying because she was able to go and have a meal. She has like 6 kids. She was able to go and have a meal with her kids that night and stuff. So she was really excited. So shout out to our patrons.
Thanks, guys. You guys have
helped us do a lot of good. We've been able to do a lot of good stuff with the partnership that you guys have done with us. So,
bonjour. Mm-hmm. So it's a way to involve our entire crew with.
Yeah. Yeah, and like when I was helping her, like, I mean, I got to share the excitement of the moment with her, and hug her while she was crying and stuff. But I was thinking about you guys and how you guys help us make that possible. So that was really cool. Zork keeps saying to check your email, okay?
Yep. All right, guys. Much love. He's half right.
Well, they're credited. You know what I mean? Like they're more credible.
Well, the facts are, if she ends up missing, we've got a trail.
They know where to start. Yeah.
You worked. It was your car. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh gosh, BM Fan. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone. Doobie doobie doo. Strangers in the night. I always wonder, like, if I'm like legitimately singing good. I feel like that's a good Strangers in the Night.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I think that's on key, man. I could be a singer.
You were singing a song to me one time and you were on point.
I need to what do you call it?
What?
I need to sing the chorus to that song.
Try it.
The Isaac song.
Try it. Why are you making that face?
Fine.
No.
Just keep it low. You're in key. Oh shit, we didn't.